Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to your IT journey. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about network drives, what they are, how to connect, how to disconnect. It's a super specific task, but it's something that you're going to be doing a lot at your help desk job or at really any point in your IT career. So let's just dive right in. So I'm going to log into my virtual machine here. For this instance, I have two virtual machines. I have one that's going to be hosting the file share. And then on the other computer, I'm going to show you how to connect to one. So before I do that, let's just talk about what the network drive is. So essentially, it's just a drive or a bunch of folders that have been made available to other users and computers on the local network. And the main purpose for this is to so people can work on documents together. You know, instead of each computer in an office housing their documents locally so that only when you're logged into that computer, you can work on the documents. The network drive is made available to all the computers and users in the office, for example, so that everyone can, work on documents together, house files, and make it available to everyone to use. So, let's just talk about how to connect to that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up your file explorer, and we're going to navigate to the share. So we're going to navigate to this folder that's available for all the users in the office to use. So open up the file explorer. We're going to go into this address bar here. We're going to do 2 backslashes. And what that's going to do is indicate that we're looking for a remote computer. And in this case, my other computer is called test-windc-001. And then we want to find the folder that has been made available to everybody. So I'm going to do another slash, and the folder is called YITJ share. So right here, we're saying we're looking for the remote computer with the 2 backslashes, and then one more backslash to say we're looking into the folders. So we're going to hit enter, and bam, now we're on this share, this folder that's been shared out to all the users in the office. And you can see here I created some test documents, like documents that your team work on, important stuff, test folder, things that the whole company shares. So because I have access to this shared folder, I can create, anything like a text document, for example, test document. And let's just say that I'm working on this document, and my coworker, when I log off, at some point my coworker is going to want to work on this same document. So instead of each of us having our own versions of our documents, we're putting it into this share. It's one centralized location. So now we've navigated to it. So this tells us that we have access to it in the first place. So that's also the most important part, is do you have access to it? So we're in here, we're able to see all the documents. I created a test document, and I can close the file explorer. And the cool thing about the network drive and how to map a network drive is it's a easily accessible way to get to that share. And if I didn't map a network drive, I would have to every single time come here and do backslash test windc001, if I can even type 001 YITJ share. I'd have to do that every single time I opened up a file explorer. So mapping the network drive is an extremely convenient way to just speed up the whole workflow, get access to your documents, and things of that nature. So let's talk about how to actually map that. So what that means is we're going to go here, open up the file explorer. We're going to go to this PC, and we have our C drive. I'm on a VM, so I have temporary storage. So we're going to go up to here to computer, and you have this option right here, map network drive. So we're going to click on this icon, and this little dialog box is going to come up. What network folder would you like to map? Specify the drive letter for the connection and the folder that you want to connect to. So the drive letter, and this is why it's called a network drive, right? We can assign different drive letters to this shared location that we're going to connect to. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, maybe there's some scripts out there that are very specific to the drive letter you use, or you're at a company that's very specific, like, hey, you know, we want our shared space to always be the U drive, for example. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really matter. But for this purpose, I'll just choose the S drive, you know. And now it's asking us for the location. And you can see right here, it even gives you an example, you know, // for the server. So this is the remote computer, the remote location that you want to access. And then another / for the actual folder, the actual location on that server that you want to connect to. And this is also why before we did this, I wanted to show you that, you know, we had to make sure that we can navigate to that shared folder in the first place. So, because, you know, for whatever reason, if you didn't have permissions and you tried to map this network drive, it would fail. So, but we know we have permissions. So here in this bar, I'm going to do / test win DC 001. That's my VM that's hosting the share. So that's the remote computer that has shared out this location for anyone else to use. And I happen to know the folder name that I want to access. There were all the users in my company, all my coworkers were all collaborating and accessing. So it's YITJ share. And you know, if you're at a company at a help desk, you're going to have this information on hand. You know, someone's going to tell you like, hey, these are the paths for so-and-so drives, and you'll have multiple network drives, multiple locations that everyone's connecting to, and different documents based on different, you know, shared locations. Everything's not going to be on just one space. I mean, you know, they like to organize it that way. So in my instance, I know the share. So I typed it out. And you have a few examples here, reconnected sign in. So obviously if I unchecked it, every time I log back in, I would have to remap this drive. And, you know, the whole purpose of this is for convenience. So let's just do a reconnected sign in. That means every time I sign back in, it's going to be connected. I can instantly start navigating to my share and doing whatever I want. So, and then your second option here, connect using different credentials. So this is an interesting option. You're not really going to use this too often, but for whatever reason, for example, this account that you're logged into on your computer, if it doesn't have permissions for the share and you tried to navigate to it or you tried to map it, it would fail. It would tell you that you don't have permissions and that you've been denied. But let's say, for example, you had access to another account, you had the credentials for another account that did have access to this share. And, you know, there could be a multitude of reasons for that. We're not going to get into that. But, you know, for whatever reason, if that was the case, I would hit connect using different credentials. And when I hit finish, it would ask me for the username and password of this other account to use. But we're not going to do that. Uncheck it, connect using different. We're just going to uncheck that. And we're just going to hit finish. And bam, the dialog box pops up. We're looking at the network share that we were looking at before I showed you guys how to map it. This is the test document, blah, blah, blah. That in, you know, another user on another computer will connect to this and they'll see all this stuff and you guys can collaborate and work on it. And you'll see that the path, the folder path for this is now S, because that's what I told it to. You know, I marked it as a drive letter S. So we're going to X that out. We're going to open up the file explorer again, and we're going to go to this PC, and there you go. Now we have the local drives as before, and now you have a new category called network locations, main share, S. And when I click open, bam, I'm back at, you know, this collaborative space. So yeah, that's really it. You know, it's a pretty much simple process as long as you have access to it and you know the folder path. You know, that's probably the biggest bulk of this whole procedure is, you know, the location that you're trying to map. And if we right click it, we can disconnect it and, you know, it goes away and you would just go through that whole same process. And sometimes companies will have scripts that do this automatically, but it's still really good to know this process manually. So let's just do this again. Test win DC 001. YITJ share. Oh, I typed it in wrong. There you go. Bam. Now it's connected again. You could also rename this, and this is just renaming it on your end. You're not actually renaming the share. In terms of troubleshooting, there's going to be some times where you're going to have users that are saying like, hey, I can't connect to this. I can't connect to our S drive. You know, they're not going to say, hey, I can't connect to our network location. You know, they're going to say, hey, I had this icon here that said S drive and I had all my documents on there. We were working on it. Now I can't get back to it. So now it's going to be your job to be like, okay, this user is talking about a network drive. Let me find out the path and let me try to help this user reconnect to it. And then you're going to troubleshoot it going forward. It could be a case of that user doesn't have permissions anymore for whatever reason, is getting denied. Maybe they're using the connect using different credentials and they're just typing in the wrong password. It also could be an even bigger case where the computer that you're on can't communicate with the computer that's hosting the share. So that would be a network problem. You could try pinging that remote computer. You could try asking your administrators like, hey, is there something wrong with the share? So there's multitudes of ways that you can troubleshoot that. But in my experience, whenever users have had problems with their network drive, let's say they can't open up files, you know, for whatever's happening, the simplest troubleshooting method is to go on that user's computer, disconnect the network drive, and then just simply reconnect it. I've done that thousands of times, and it has solved majority of the issues. So that's why it's good for you to know how to map it and then disconnect and remap it. So yeah, that's really it. That was the whole thing about network drives. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Send me an email, and I'd be happy to try to explain further. So yeah, before I let you guys go, just in summary, again, this network drive, to your computer, it's a drive just like these, but it's really just a bunch of folders, or a folder on a remote computer that an admin has chosen to share out to a bunch of, you know, whatever number of users and computers. As long as you have permissions to it, you can access it. So it's just a way to house files and documents in a central location, so that everybody can access it, rather than every single person in a organization having these files localized on their computer. You know, like coworker A can have super important documents on their computer, and if their computer hits the fan, and you know, you're kind of screwed. All those documents are gone. So that's why it's also a very safe and efficient way to house documents. You'll have file servers in your organization that are housing all these shares, and then the file servers are stronger grade computers with backup solutions and fault tolerance and high availability. So yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. So yeah, that's about it. That's the network drives. Let me know. And again, welcome to your IT journey. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. I'll put everything in the description. Yeah. Thanks, guys.